Hello YouTube, it's Tony here from Locks to Reads. I hope you're all doing very well. I can't help but noticing the red thing on my nose. That's because I wear a CPAP machine and I think it rubs on the end of my nose. At least I hope that's what it is. Otherwise I've got some kind of weird nose thing going on. Um, this is a video to announce a potential forthcoming project. I think whether I do it or not partly depends on whether people think it will be of interest. There's part of me that wants to do it just because I think it'll help keep me on the straight and narrow. But what it is I'm working with a friend on a project. I'm not going to go into the details of the project at this point because we're right at the early stages. But to do it, it's going to involve some proper historical research and literary research, for want of a better word, into the English Civil War, its sort of causes, the war itself. I know I think the modern tendency is to refer to it as the War of the Three Kingdoms rather than just the English Civil War, but also specifically research into John Milton's life and work. Now, I did a history degree, but I graduated in 1992, which is a long, long time ago. And whilst I read a lot of non-fiction, particularly history, it's been a long time since I've done research with the objective of producing something at the end of it, a written work, whether that be an essay, a novel, a TV series, whatever. So my skills for research to translate into written work are very rusty indeed. So the objective of this project is to focus specifically on the reading that I'm going to do for that project, and the outcome of the research as I go, and to try and sort of, I suppose there are people on YouTube who do a lot of work around what they're doing for their PhDs, what they're doing for their degrees. I'm focusing specifically on sort of courses, etc. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is to sort of do something that is a half-arsed amateur's guide to doing historical research when you aren't actually a historian. I'll come up with a better title for it than that, probably. I do actually quite like the idea of a half-arsed historian. In fact, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it half-arsed historian. The the Milton project, for want of a better word, or the Civil War project. I can't quite work out which one, but I think it might be that. Sorry, I'm thinking as I go here. Now, whether anybody is going to be interested in this is moot. As I said, I think I might just do it for the sake of keep helping me guide myself through the project. Fundamentally, there's going to be sort of three separate areas to look. Well, yeah, fundamentally two or three separate areas to look at. One, Milton himself. Two, the English Civil War, and three, I suppose three is, well, there's two. Okay, I'm doing a reverse Spanish Inquisition here. There are three. No, there are two. No, there is one. And then linking them together. This is a longish term project. It's not something that's going to happen every day, and it might be something that I can do some videos that aren't just me in my room in front of the computer like this. I may actually get out and use my phone, because it's almost certainly going to involve some British Library research. I do have some existing books on a number of Civil War books, some of which I got from the library, and also I've got three Milton biographies. There's this one by Anna Beer, and there's, well, actually two biographies. I'm doing this reverse Spanish Inquisition. Life of John Milton by A.N. Wilson, and then this one much more specifically sort of and academically, which is John Milton and the English Revolution and Studying the Sociology of Literature by Andrew Milner. Um, and what I remembered when I was preparing for this, and I'm unbelieving there was some preparation before I started this, was that the first thing you are sort of supposed to do in an academic exercise is a literary review. Now, the English Civil War, / War of the Three Kingdoms, as thousands of books written about it. John Milton probably has thousands of books written about him. So the first stage of this process will be to look at what's out there. I will start with with John Milton, with the Wikipedia pages, because although Wikipedia isn't something you should cite as a source in and of itself, it is, I think, now particularly a valuable starting point for any project like this you're about to undertake. Wikipedia, when it first initially, people would mock, when Wikipedia was in its early stages, people would mock it quite a lot for being bad, and there are still issues with some of. There are usually issues more with people who are alive than people who are dead and historical events. But now they tend to be very well put together and very well cited, sourced and sourced. And it's a good place to start in terms of getting a basic understanding of what's what, and who's who, and sort of making initial notes. Then I think the exercise is to look then at the literary review, what's been written, what's available, what I can easily get my hands on. I can, because I am in London, go to the British Library, finances depending, so I can get access to things that are out of print. So secondary sources is the first stage. This is what I'm trying to remember from my degree, by the way. If there's any historians actually watching this who have any tips or advice, particularly any historians who have done literature people who have done these people in these places, that'd be great. Advice would follow. So then secondary sources, and then I don't know whether we'll get to the depths, or we need to get to the depths of primary sources. Possibly not. It depends on. I think for the purposes of the project that I'm working on, probably not. But if I get overexcited with this, I might well do it for my own benefit, and I might produce something separate to the project I'm working on with my friend. I feel like I need to sharpen up my writing skills, and maybe doing the occasional essay on sort of subjects within what I'm doing might be interesting. So the Half-Arsed Historian, project number 1, the English Civil War / John Milton. I will come up with a better title for it than that. Anyway, let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things. And let's see how this goes. As usual, this is a professional. My determination with this is to also use this. Actually, the other thing is one of the things I want to use this for is to work on improving the quality of my videos, so that over time, while this project is going on, there'll be some actual. I will learn how to edit. I will learn how to insert things in and around me in this video, me in my enormous head in this video, and so I can take footage when I'm out and about, visiting places. For example, I'm determined at some point to go to Milton's house in Chalfont St Giles. No, Chalfont St Giles. Yeah, I don't know why I questioned that. I drove past it hundreds of times. It's actually shocking, based on the fact that one of my best friends in the world lives in, he used to live in Chalfont St Giles when we were kids, that I've never actually been to Milton's house. But that's one. So I might at some point do a video around that. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to keep this under 10 minutes. I thought I'd do this. If it's not something you're interested in, that's fine. As I said, I might just carve this out as a niche to keep myself on the straight and narrow with the project. And that's it. Pause, embarrassing and unnecessary pause, and then stop. Have a good one. Bye bye.